Hi guys, March 4, 2009, Wellington, New Zealand, and back from our excursion this morning up the Rumataka Range onto the peaks, around about 21, 22 miles from Wellington. Actually no, I tell a lie, it's about 25 miles from Wellington, and yeah, about 25 miles from Wellington, and it's about 30 minutes drive to get to the base where you actually do the walk from the ranges through to up to the summit, which is like going up a ladder for about 25-30 minutes. So it's a pretty difficult climb, but the rewards are definitely there, and made me think about that funny little song that Bobby McFerrin sang about no discipline is pleasure at the time but painful. For those who can be trained by it, it has its reward. Poor guy went and topped himself. I don't know why. He did that song, Be Happy, Don't Worry, and just, you know, amazing the people who give off the most humour and often appear the funniest or the saddest internally. Yeah, that's not why I'm talking to you. I'm talking about the Guardian Weekly, which we raised up there on the mountain, and the front page. And as you can see on the front page of the Guardian Weekly, we have got my title of the last video: Torrent of Bad News Ends Hope of a Quick Recession. And the EU leaders agreed to double the IMF crisis fund. That's actually an outrageous group of people, which we will dedicate a video to. Yeah, the International Monetary Fund, World Bank, all collections of people who they're really running rorts, and some of you will be well informed. A bank which you're probably less informed about is the Bank of International Settlements. It started at the time of the Third Reich and continues to this day. However, we won't go there, but we will go into a little bit of the reporting on the in the Guardian, and also want to talk briefly about Obama. And there's President Obama, and the headline is: Obama is walking a Gossamer-Thin tightrope, and there's no safety net. Yeah, and so of course the collapsing US economy has forced Barack Obama into an extraordinary balancing act. He has to tell the public that the crisis is going to get worse, so that when he seeks election in 2012, he is not open to charges of having failed to provide warnings. But he cannot raise the alarm too loudly for fear of creating panic and undermining an early restoration of economic confidence. Well, I've got to tell you, there's another little heading down here. If a $787 billion stimulus makes no impression, Obama will have to ask for hundreds of billions more. Now, trillions of dollars has disappeared. Trillions of dollars have disappeared. Europe takes a turn for the worse. Yeah, major article, Europe takes a turn for the worse. Got to get that one. And a friend of mine, just incidentally, he's written a feature, and what does it say is: world shows it's still on course for destruction. Take it back a bit, got the whole thing there. That's not really where I want to go at the moment, but I do want to just talk about the seriousness of the mess that we're in, and basically what it comes down to, guys, is that trillions of dollars in the US and in Europe, that's in various sectors, Eastern Europe of course, up to its armpits in bad bank loans, has actually been destroyed as a consequence of the exuberance that was encouraged by people like Alan Greenspan, who basically allowed this situation to get completely out of hand, then turned around and said he had missed something in his model of his financial global economic model. And of course, a follower of Ayn Rand, you've got to understand where Greenspan was coming from. It's all about selfish rationalism. And, you know, these people actually follow after the school of those two crooks, Malcolm and Boesky, who actually ran the junk bonds scam in the 80s. And they basically were kind of like a prototype for the subprime mortgages. You've got to understand that this has actually happened before. We're doing a rerun. And because we didn't learn from the unbelievably disastrous situation that junk bonds took the global financial economy to, we didn't learn from it. We're back again, and it's worse. And it's worse by so much more. Okay, so there's nothing that we can do to stop this, because you see what happens is, first of all, it's triggered by the fact that we had an abundance of unbelievably cheap energy. I'm talking oil, and that cheap energy reached a peak and it cracked, and the pressure that put on this economy that was so exuberant, over the over-exuberance that was manifesting itself, actually then pulled the plug and set us down the slope, onto the downward slope of the peak. So we reached the summit and we cross over, and just like up in the mountains this morning, the way down, it's a bumpy ride, guys, but eventually you're going to hit somewhere where it's flat. And maybe it'll be flat for a while, and then it'll be another bumpy ride down because you're on the roller coaster going back. Okay, so these unbelievably difficult times, the duplicity and the hypocrisy that is practiced by our public figures. But I've got to say, if you read history, you see it again and again and again, because that is our nature. We are self-seeking. And you could say, I mean, how on earth could one possibly deny the validity of what the Bible says about human nature? Hey, anyone who hasn't read the Bible will, of course, make confidently ignorant statements. I get given a hard time every now and then by young kids who haven't got a clue what they're talking about. They're confidently ignorant, but they don't mean, they mean well, but they just don't understand what they're talking about. And you've got to live quite a few years and experience quite a lot and be open to a learning experience to be able to figure out what is going on. And I've got to say to you that, you know, it doesn't come too often with youth, and it just does need to have a bit of the old experience and the hard road, the school of hard knocks. They're part of the shaping of the and the total forming of the human intellect. Can't just all get it through the ether, or because, you know, you're doing well at school and you think that's enough and you can make all the judgments and you understand what's going on. I mean, the thing is that we're all so small, we're all so tiny in the way we understand the world, and so much has happened again and again and again. As Ecclesiastes says, there's no new thing under the sun. All is vanity and vexation of the spirit. And so that's why I do actually fall back to some of those really solid biblical positions. Because I've got to say, guys, that after you experienced a bit, and if you read the propositions of the Bible, you just do understand that the Bible understands human nature so well. Don't be tricked into thinking that you understand it without reading it. Yeah. See you next